Have you ever stopped to wonder why we tend to repeat some actions while avoiding others? Why a simple well done can make us light up with pride, or why a stern warning can instantly make us change course? In the early 20th century, one man didn't just ask these questions, he dedicated his life to answering them. That man was B.F. Skinner. In 1904, Burrhus Frederick Skinner entered the world at a time when psychology was experiencing a seismic shift. The field was moving away from peering into mysterious workings of the mind and focusing instead on what could be observed, measured, and tested. This was the rise of behaviorism, taken over by pioneers like John B. Watson. But Skinner wasn't content to follow in Watson's footsteps. Instead, he aimed to push the boundaries further. Skinner's career blossomed in the post-World War II era, a period buzzing with innovation, scientific discovery, and an almost unstoppable faith in technology. These cultural aspects shaped his thinking. He believed psychology should be as precise and systematic as engineering or physics, using experiments not just to understand the behavior, but to predict and even control it. What set Skinner apart was his creation of radical behaviorism. This was a bold perspective that refused to be distracted by thoughts and feelings. It instead focused on the powerful role the environment plays in shaping our every move. He argued that we are constantly influenced and trained by the rewards and punishments in our surroundings. And at the very heart of his legacy, this was operant conditioning, a groundbreaking theory that revealed that our actions are guided by their consequences. Whether it's a child doing homework for extra playtime, a student studying hard for praise, or an employee working late for a promotion, Skinner showed that we are all in some way responding to the invisible system of rewards and consequences around us.
B.F. Skinner's story begins in a quiet town of Pennsylvania, where he was born in 1904 and raised in a strict, rule-abiding family. His upbringing was structured, disciplined, and guided by clear expectations. This kind of environment may have sparked his early interest in how rules and consequences shaped behavior. As a young man, Skinner's dream was not to be a scientist at all, but a writer. He imagined himself creating novels and stories that could inspire and move people. He worked hard to make his dream a full-time career, but life took him in a different direction. Everything shifted when Skinner discovered the work of Ivan Pavlov, the Russian psychologist famous for conditioning dogs to salivate at the sound of bell. In addition, there was John B. Watson, the founder of American behaviorism. Their bold ideas that behavior could be studied and predicted without even peering into the mind fascinated him. Determined to explore this new calling, Skinner enrolled at Harvard University and earned his PhD in psychology. He didn't just stay as a student. He returned as a professor, spending decades there, conducting research and mentoring the next generation of psychologists. Skinner was not simply a theorist, he was an inventor and an experimenter. One of his most important creations was the operant conditioning chamber, better known today as the Skinner box. This device allowed him to study behavior under highly controlled conditions, where every stimulus and every consequence could be measured precisely. Inside the box, animals such as rats or pigeons could press levers, peck keys, or respond to light and sound, receiving rewards or punishment in return. These experiments became the backbone of his theories. Over his career, Skinner published more than 20 books and hundreds of academic papers, applying his theory not only to animals in laboratories, but also education, mental health therapy, and even societal design. His work was practical as well as theoretical, aiming to improve how humans learn, adapt, and thrive. Even into his final years, Skinner never stopped writing, lecturing, and sharing his ideas. In 1990, just days before his death, he gave a speech at the American Psychological Association, still changing the field to think differently. His passing marked the end of an era, but his influence continues to shape classrooms, clinics, and even technology we use every day.
Perhaps Skinner's most enduring contribution to psychology is his theory of operant conditioning, a framework that explains how behavior is shaped by its consequences. In simple terms, if a behavior is followed by a reward, what Skinner called a reinforcer, it's most likely to happen again. On the flip side, if a behavior is followed by a punishment, something unpleasant, it's less likely to be repeated. Think of it in everyday terms. A student study hard for a test, earn praise from their teacher and get a high grade. That praise and success make it more likely the student will study hard again. That's reinforcement at work. But if the student skip class and receive detention, the unpleasant consequences discourage skipping in the future. That's punishment. Let's take a look in this example video.
Are you finished?
Well, thank you. How thoughtful. Would you like a chocolate?
Yeah, sure. Thanks. Oh, sorry, Sheldon, I almost sat in your spot.
Did you? I didn't notice. Have a chocolate.
Thank you. Oh, am I talking too much? I'm sorry. Zip.
Thank you. Chocolate?
Yes, please. Oh, hey, Kim. Yeah, you know what? Hold on. Let me take this in the hall. You'll never guess who they got to replace you with work.
Okay. I know what you're doing.
Really?
Yes. You're using chocolates as positive reinforcement for what you consider correct behavior.
Very good. Chocolate?
No, I don't want
What made Skinner's work revolutionary was not just his focus on consequences, but also his deep investigation into the patterns by which rewards are given. He discovered schedule of reinforcement, a specific way of timing and delivering reward that produce different patterns of behavior. For example, fixed ratio. A reward is given after a set number of responses. Imagine a rat getting a food pellet after every 5th lever press. The animal quickly learns to work in bursts, then pause, then work again. Next, variable ratio. Rewards come after an unpredictable number of responses. This is the principle behind slot machine. You never know when you will win, so you keep playing, sometimes for hours. Fixed interval. Rewards are based on time, not actions. A pigeon may get food every 10 minutes, regardless of how often it pecks a key, which leads to bursts of activity right before the reward is due. And finally, variable interval, where the rewards come at random times. This produces steady, consistent behavior because the reward could come at any moment. This finding transformed not only how psychology understands learning, but also how teachers, trainers, and even marketers influence behavior.
To test his theories with precision, Skinner designed what became one of the most iconic tools in psychology, the Skinner box. At first glance, it was just a small, enclosed chamber, but inside, it was a perfectly engineered environment for learning experiments. For instance, if a rat pressed a lever and received food, it quickly learned to press the lever more often.
By adjusting the timing or frequency of rewards, Skinner could watch behavior change in predictable ways. But Skinner's ideas didn't stay locked inside the four walls of a laboratory. What began as controlled experiments with levers, lights, and food pellets evolved into something far more impactful: the foundation of applied behavior analysis, or ABA. ABA is the science of understanding and improving human behavior by applying principles of learning. In simpler terms, it's about studying what people do, figuring out why they do it, and then using positive strategies to help them learn and grow. The applied part means it focuses on real-life situations. The behavior part means it looks at observable actions, and analysis means it uses data to measure change. In practice, ABA takes the idea that behaviors can be strengthened with rewards and weakened with consequences, and applies it in a structured, evidence-based way. For example, a teacher might reward a student for raising their hand instead of calling out in class. A workplace trainer might reinforce safe practices by recognizing employees who follow safety procedures, or a sport coach who could use step-by-step reinforcement to help an athlete perfect a skill. Today, ABA is perhaps best known for its role in helping children with autism spectrum disorder. Therapists use reinforcement to build essential skills, from communication and social interaction to daily living tasks like dressing, eating, or managing routines. Every program is highly individualized. Progress is tracked closely, and strategies are adjusted to meet the needs of each person. Let's look at an example video. The boy, Daniel, is encouraged to verbally ask for the things he needs to play a game. The adult strategically sets up the materials to draw out verbal requests from Daniel. She requires him to stay seated, rather than getting the items himself. This is to ensure encouragement for him to practice using his words. Because sitting still is difficult for Daniel, the adult regularly praises him when he is sitting and waiting nicely.
You are such a ticklish guy. What's that? Oh, do you see your teddy? Oh, you do too. Let's get him and we can have a quick kiss. Come on, Teddy. Kiss. Mwah. Mwah. Okay, what we're going to do with Teddy now, let's put him up here so he can watch, because it's time to play the popcorn game. Okay, but uh-oh, we don't have all the pieces. So I need you to tell me what we need to get so we can play. Nice sitting, Daniel. Very good. What do we need to get?
The lid.
What's that?
Lid.
Get the lid. Okay. I like your sitting. Here we go.
The big lid.
Oh, the big lid. Silly me. Of course. Here's the big lid. Great thinking, Daniel. What else do we need?
Popcorn.
Popcorn. Okay, you stay in your chair. I'll get the popcorn. I've got the popcorn.
Put the lid.
Put it in. Okay, here we go. Da-da-da-dum. Nice staying in your chair, buddy. What else do we need? Oh, it's on.
Cup.
We need a cup. Okay. This one?
Yeah.
You want that one? Okay, there you go. And I'll get the red cup. Here we go. Let's turn it on. All right, let's get them. Oh, got one. Oh, got two. Your turn. Oh, can you get it?
But ABA isn't limited to therapy rooms. It's used in schools to improve learning, incorporate training to boost performance, and even in fitness and sports to develop consistent habits and skills. Anywhere behavior can be shaped for the better, ABA can be applied. This is the true power of Skinner's legacy. He didn't just explain how behavior works, he gave us a framework and a set of practical tools to create meaningful, measurable, and lasting change in people's lives.
It's tempting to think of B.F. Skinner's work as a relic of the past.
black and white footage of pigeons pecking in boxes, dusty psychology books, and outdated lab experiments. But his influence is alive and well, woven into the fabric of our modern world in ways we barely even notice. Take social media, for example. Ever found yourself planning to scroll for just 5 minutes only to realize an hour has vanished? That's operant conditioning in action. Specifically, variable ratio reinforcement. Just as Skinner's pigeons kept pecking for food pellets at unpredictable intervals, we keep scrolling and waiting for the next funny video, interesting post, or even a ping of a new message. The reward might come now, or in 5 swipes, or in 20, and that unpredictability keeps us hooked. The same principle applies to mobile games that hand out coins, bonuses, or power-ups at random, or even shopping apps that surprise you with flash sales. The Skinner box has gone digital, and now it fits in your pocket, aka your phone. His influence is also clear in education. Many classrooms use token economies such as star charts, point systems, or even stickers, just like in kindergarten, to reinforce good behavior. For example, when someone says, "Finish your homework and earn a star," collect 5 stars and choose a prize. This approach is especially effective for children with ADHD or behavioral challenges. And perhaps most profoundly, Skinner's work lives on in therapy, particularly in ABA programs that help children with autism develop essential skills. By structuring reinforcement carefully, therapists can help children learn to communicate, interact socially, and navigate life a lot more independently, especially on a daily.
B.F. Skinner's work on operant conditioning transformed our understanding of how behavior is shaped. He proved that consequences, whether rewards or punishments, can strongly influence what we do next. Today, psychology still uses these principles, but they are combined with something Skinner talked less about: self-awareness and personal choice. This combination turns simple behavior shaping into a tool for personal growth. We can see it in health and lifestyle changes. Someone training for a marathon might use a reward system, like treating themselves after long runs, while also tracking progress and setting personal goals. In nutrition, apps might offer badges for healthy eating streaks. But people who reflect on their habits are more likely to keep those changes for the long term. Therapy too has evolved, while Skinner's methods still help people build new habits. Approaches like cognitive behavioral therapy, CBT, add tools for examining thoughts, emotions, and motivations. This way, people learn not only what to change, but why and how to make those changes stick. The same blend of reinforcement and reflection appears in many parts of life. In community programs, volunteers might earn small rewards for their time, while also being encouraged to design their own projects. In sports coaching, athletes might receive recognition for hitting targets alongside guided self-analysis to improve future performance. Skinner's influence has moved far beyond the lab. His ideas help us balance external influences with our own inner control. By pairing rewards with conscious reflection, we can create meaningful, lasting change.
While B.F. Skinner's impact is undeniable, his work also sparked heated debate. Many critics argued that his strict focus on observable behavior left out something fundamental, such as the complexity of human thoughts, emotions, and consciousness. One of his most vocal critics was Noam Chomsky, a linguist and a philosopher. Chomsky challenged Skinner's attempt to explain language through behaviorist principles. He argued that language involves creativity, such as children often produce sentences they've never heard before, which can't be explained purely through reinforcement. Carl Rogers, a leading figure in humanistic psychology, also took issue with Skinner's approach. Rogers believed in the human drive for personal growth and self-actualization, arguing that Skinner's theories reduced people to mere machines responding to stimuli, stripping away individuality and emotional depth. He felt that ignoring inner experiences left psychology incomplete, unable to fully explain motivation, empathy, or the search for meaning in life. Others agreed that behaviorism's narrow lens missed the richness of human experience. Even Abraham Maslow, known for his hierarchy of needs, criticized behaviorism for offering a cold, mechanical view of people that ignored purpose, meaning, and values. These critics weren't dismissing science, they simply believed that psychology should embrace the whole person, such as the mind, emotions, and spirit, not just the measurable behaviors we display.
So, what can we take away from all this? B.F. Skinner didn't just influence psychology, he reframed how we see behavior itself. He showed us that our actions are not random, but shaped by the environments we inhabit and the consequences we experience. His theories have found their way into classrooms, therapy rooms, and even technology in our pockets. From a child earning stars for good behavior to an adult checking their phone for the next notification, the principles of operant conditioning are all around us. Of course, his work wasn't without flaws. Many thinkers argued that human beings cannot be fully explained by reinforcement and punishments alone, that our thoughts, emotions, and choices play a role that can't be measured in a lab. But even with these criticisms, Skinner's influence remains. His famous quote, "We shouldn't teach great books, we should teach a love of reading," captures the deeper aim behind his work, to shape environments that help people thrive rather than control them for control's sake. In the end, Skinner's greatest legacy may be the tools he gave us, ways to understand, predict, and improve behavior in a world where change is always possible.